3. Before, during, and after COVID-19, Catholic Charities is here for you.
You're listening to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ 750 AM. Every Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., the Archdiocese of Chicago presents programming about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Thanks for letting us be part of your morning. Now again, Catholic Chicago.
Good morning and welcome to the Voice of Charity. I'm Katie Breedeman and we're so glad you've joined us today. As a reminder, the Voice of Charity broadcasts on WNDZ 750 AM radio here in Chicago, and there's a live stream of that broadcast on YouTube and Facebook at Catholic Chicago. Back in October of 2019, some wonderful friends from the Home Depot Corporation came to join us on the Voice of Charity. We were delighted that day to have the opportunity to thank these Home Depot executives for extensive renovations they had done at no cost at Catholic Charity's House of the Good Shepherd, which many of you know is a domestic violence shelter for women and children here in Chicago. Nancy Hawes, Director of Development for the House of Good Shepherd, joined in the discussion, and honestly, everyone here was so moved by the generosity of our guests and the impact that it had on the women and children who benefited from their kindness. Nancy recently contacted us to say that the Home Depot folks had done it again. She said that the landscaping at the House of Good Shepherd recently underwent a complete renovation thanks to the Home Depot team members. And Nancy said that they continue to do further updates inside the shelter too. We agreed that it would be wonderful to have our Home Depot friends back on the Voice of Charity again to tell us all about it. So with us today are Gary Hutchinson, District Manager for Metro Chicago, Joe Dandan, Store Manager for Home Depot Store number 1961, and Nancy Hawes. Welcome, Gary, Joe, and Nancy. Great. Can you hear me, Gary, Joe, and Nancy?
I can hear you, ma'am.
Wonderful. Nancy, are you with us as well?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
I can. So, Nancy, can you give our audience a little bit of the background of our relationship with Home Depot and of their work back in 2019 at the House of Good Shepherd?
Well, the one word I would use to describe it is it's extraordinary. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. It's extraordinary. I met Joe and Gary and Al Sturmer and a number of other gentlemen came for a site visit in May of 2019 because several of the stores and different people had provided us with flowers and flowers for our And then these wonderful gentlemen came and visited the camp.
Well, I can share a little bit as well because I was here and part of that discussion. But the Home Depot folks saw that the kitchen at the House of Good Shepherd was not in good condition at all. And they said, gosh, you need, some repairs here. And so it started out as being a repair of just a dishwasher. And before you knew it, the Home Depot folks started contacting some of their vendors, and they absolutely gutted the kitchen and renovated it top to bottom with new cabinetry, new appliances, new flooring. And Monsignor Boland came and blessed the renovation of the kitchen in October of 2019. And it's my understanding that the Home Depot folks really never stopped after that. They renovated the sitting area for the women and children who kind of call that their family room, and that now apparently they have continued by renovating the apartments one by one. I should add that the House of Good Shepherd does tremendous work welcoming women and children in, the very most frightening circumstances possibly of their lives. They make a decision, sometimes in the middle of the night, that they need to escape their home circumstances. And the House of Good Shepherd welcomes them and very respectfully and systematically kind of helps them recover and reestablish themselves in the world. And this can include everything from schooling, after-school care so the mothers can get a job, but it also sometimes involves medical treatment as well. And so we're blessed with wonderful staff at the House of Good Shepherd that meets the women and children immediately and then speaks with them and takes things one at a time to help them reestablish in the world. It's really a tremendous program. And it's also one that has been an establishment here in Chicago, for over 100 years. Catholic Charities has only been involved, I believe, since 2015. I'll clarify that with Nancy. But the House of Good Shepherd itself has been assisting in many ways for people who are in need. So we're so, thrilled and grateful that the Home Depot folks have started work there and have continued. I've been to the House of Good Shepherd myself, and it's beautiful. There's a playground there for children. There's rooms where women can get counseling if they need it. Oftentimes, they have to literally start over in their lives with employment, housing, and making sure their children stay in school. Sometimes the children are so little that they need childcare. So it's really quite a complex situation that the House of Good Shepherd staff greets, but they are such pros and they know how to help each woman and create an individualized plan for each family so that they can begin again. I can also share with you that at this blessing, when Monsignor Boland came, Home Depot brought all of the volunteers who had assisted with the kitchen renovation. It was quite impressive. Everyone had their orange little, I hate to call it like an apron, but I guess it really was, and it was wonderful. Do we have anybody with us now, Gary, or are you here? Or Joe?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great, Joe. Could you please tell us a little bit about the recent landscaping renovation at the House of Good Shepherd?
Sure. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
I can.
I'll start, and then I'll give Joe an opportunity to chime in, because I know he always likes
wonderful.
to,
Thanks, Gary. Thank you.
Add a lot of commentary. So we like to do a what we call a spring refresh, for Ann and the team out at the House of Good Shepherd. And this year we went out, we planned the event. We had to work within the COVID guidelines and obviously take precautions and break into teams and separate, but we were still able to accomplish quite a project. We replaced all the perennials and small shrubs that didn't survive the winter. We have some hard winters in Chicago on the landscaping. We brought in new annuals to add color to the grounds. We remulched the entire area of the campus. We added safety mulch. We had rubber mulch to both playgrounds to make sure they were leveled off and had good depth of rubber for the children to play. Updated the vegetable gardens. We took out the old beds and put raised beds in and fixed all the fencing around it to keep the pests away. Of course, we want the vegetables to be eaten, not by the rabbits. And then trimmed all the trees and bushes back. We added a new basketball hoop with some of our vendor partners helped us install that. We probably had somewhere about 100 to 150 volunteers across maybe 12 to 15 of our stores from the Chicagoland. And Joe, I don't know if I missed anything or if you wanted to add a couple.
No, other than, sir, I'm very honored to be part of this, group right now and this broadcast, this organization of Home Depot, as well as what we do on a daily basis to help our community and specifically House of Good Shepherd. It's an honor at every level and exciting, and we all look forward to it. All the volunteers get excited about it, whether it's in spring or in fall. We'll try to do another event as well too. But in reality, it's all about giving back to our communities, and what a great place and cause the House of Good Shepherd is all about. It's fantastic at every level, and greatly, greatly appreciated.
So may I ask, over how many days, hours or days, did the renovation take place?
That's a great question. So it takes place in one day. We organize everything. We divide people into teams ahead of time. We deliver all the product prior to the event. We work with Ann and the team out at the house and coordinate deliveries so we can stage everything. And when we bring our volunteers in, really people are so excited to help out. The project's very organized. Everybody has a team, and the teams know what they need to accomplish. And we usually have lunch around 1 o'clock, and then wrap up the cleanup. So it's a one-day event.
I think we've been showing some of the photos from the project, and it's really quite impressive. I know you said you had the staff members joining in, but also volunteers, right? Weren't some of your family members even involved?
Yes, they were. So all of our family members like to get involved. My wife, Laura, comes out to the event. Joe's wife's always at the event. Really, even some of the older children like to come out. The teenagers like to come out and help at the event. And, we make sure that everybody understands the COVID protocols prior to coming, and everybody signs off on them as well. So it's a great event. We're happy to do it.
Well, and I as I mentioned before, with the kitchen renovation, I know that you engaged some of your vendors to assist. And what were some of the vendors that you asked to assist with this landscape project?
For landscaping, we use mostly our supplier, Scott's. So Scott's is a big soil and mulch vendor of ours here in Chicagoland, and really the company. So once we told them we were doing it at the House of Good Shepherd, they donated all the mulch and soils we would need to replace the shrubs and plants, and really, really a great vendor partner. And then Rapid Set has been out there to help us with some concrete work in the past, and we told them we were going to install a basketball hoop and fix a fence gate, and of course they came out right away and got involved with that and took that off of our plate. A little more technical work, but we've had some great vendors across from the kitchen install with Absolute Construction, really all the way to the landscaping. Then our suppliers, Hampshire Farms and Grand Flower, donated some plants for us as well to help out.
Well, and I know that, the weather can be a little precarious in the spring here. Did you have a date planned well in advance, or was it one of those things where you saw the forecast Wednesday that it's going to be a nice weekend and just, pulled it all together in a couple days? How did that work?
It's interesting you bring that up. So we work around our schedule, but then we also work around, as you know, Chicago Cubs have a pretty intense schedule. And funny enough, it was a week-long homestand, and we had to squeeze in the one day they were off, which I think was a Thursday, so we didn't plan on another day because of the ball games. And, of course, it rained that day, but we had ponchos, and everybody was in good spirits, and it was a little chilly, a little cold, but it's typical Chicago, sunny one day, rainy the next. And, we muscled through and got the job done with our ponchos on, so it was pretty exciting.
Well, I see
Mother
from
Nature cannot slow
please
us
go ahead,
down,
Joe.
that's for sure.
Sorry, excuse me. Please go ahead.
I said Mother Nature can't slow us down.
Mother Nature can't slow us down. Right. Well, I see the ponchos on these photos, but I also see huge smiles. So we're going to take a quick break here on the Voice of Charity, and we'll be right back to talk more about this tremendous gesture of corporate generosity. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, Catholic Charities has continued to respond to the needs of people who come to us for assistance. More than 850,000 meals and food parcels have been offered to those who are struggling with food insecurity. Over 108,000 homelessness prevention hotline calls have been answered. Over 22,000 people have received mental health services, and $2 million in financial assistance has been provided to keep people housed. If you or someone you know needs assistance, email us at gethelp@catholiccharities.net. That's gethelp@catholiccharities.net. Or call 312-655-7700. That's 312-655-7700. Before, during, and after COVID-19, Catholic Charities is here for you.
The Word Made Clear is exactly what its name implies. It's an easy-to-understand explanation of the Word of God, the Gospel. Hello, I'm Father James McElhone, Director of Biblical Formation for the Archdiocese of Chicago. I'd like to invite you to take our free online Bible study program by going to thewordmadeclear.org. Our website offers an audio-based guide to the Gospels of Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. Listen to my lectures and follow along with the handouts provided. There are even discussion guides. You can also explore the biblical roots of the Mass. And there are links to a wide variety of biblical sources that will benefit both teachers and students of the sacred scriptures. Just go to wordmadeclear.org to experience our free online Bible study program. Again, it's free at wordmadeclear.org. It's the Word of God. Enjoy.
And welcome back to the Voice of Charity. I'm here today with Nancy Hawes, the Director of Development for Catholic Charities House of Good Shepherd, and Gary Hutchinson and Joe Dandan of the Home Depot Corporation. And we apologize for a little bit of technical difficulty, but we're back with Nancy on audio. And I'm wondering, Nancy, if you could share a little bit more about that first question about our background with Home Depot and the length of our relationship with them as partners in fulfilling the mission of Catholic Charities.
Okay, can you hear me okay now,
yes,
Katie?
Can hear you great. Thank you.
Oh, super. Well, from the very beginning of our relationship with Gary and Metro District Chicago, Home Depot 65, 1961, there are so many of them, we really aligned in terms of our values because everything they do in their daily job is about rebuilding and restoring. And so what they did in terms of the souls of our families and our staff was they really restored dignity, not just to the campus, but it was a reminder to every woman and child and staff when they walked by to see those beautiful flowers, new floors, a gorgeous kitchen. It showed a whole sense of renewal in relationships through mercy and trust building, and with people of all faiths and ethnicities. And I can't stress enough what inspiration all of these volunteers and these particular leaders from Home Depot have given to us by showing us capacity building is really from within.
Beautifully said, Nancy. And Gary and Joe, I know that giving back to the community is inherent in the Home Depot corporate philosophy. In fact, your website refers to it as corporate responsibility that is values-based and centered on 3 key pillars. Could you describe for us what those pillars are?
Yeah, certainly. So I'll start with the community one because it seems to be the event we're in today. So when you look at Home Depot's commitment to the community and strengthening them, this is something that started day one with our founders. They always felt like we were going to give back to the communities that we serve, and more than just providing product and services for them, but also giving back with resources and taking care of helping out in the community. If you look at what Home Depot's doing and committed to, $500 million to veterans by 2025 in different causes. That's quite a commitment. $50 million to train 20,000 tradespeople by 2028. If you look at disaster relief supplies in 2019, almost 5,000 truckloads of product that were donated, and $50 million to help communities, combat COVID-19 as the country went through that. And then locally, from our part, we've adopted the House of Good Shepherd here in Metro Chicago. We committed to Ann and Nancy that is going to be a part of our community going forward. So we're excited and here to support them in any way needed locally, but globally we do so much as well. So if you look at operations, and I'll be brief so we can get back to the community part, but reducing energy costs is a huge focus for Home Depot. If you look at between 2010 and 2019, we used 35% less energy in our stores, and it just shows how we're committed to providing just great things across the community and not just taking. So, Joe, anything you want to add on the pillars?
No, other than we live by our wheel of value, and that is giving back to our community, as Gary was emphasizing on building stronger relationships at every level. And of course, you mentioned it, of all background ethnicities, we respect of all of our people. These are our pillars, and we'll always go by them and ensure that all our employees live by these values as they're the pillar to our success.
I can't help but think that that's a very unifying philosophy within your stores, within each store as well, that the employees, feel very proud to be connected to something that's so universally positive and philanthropic. Would you say that that's, you get many benefits from the way you lead your store, Joe, just because of the corporate philosophy that you all work under?
Absolutely. And by just also going back to the House of Good Shepherd, we're implementing that same culture with all these, the women and the children that looking from a different scope of eyes, if you will, and looking at us and see that the world is not always dark, that there's, additional hope, additional direction, additional life that's beyond the darkness that they came from. So it goes beyond the boundaries of our stores. And yes, it is our pillar, and we want to make sure that we continue to drive it. We continue to, ensure that these associates of ours and then everybody we impact them in that positive manner. Absolutely.
And Nancy, can you talk a little bit more about the tremendous impact that this renovation has made at the House of Good Shepherd with the women and children there? I can't help but think that the new basketball hoop was the first thing that all the children went to go enjoy.
Well, I can't say enough about how important it was and a real lifesaver during this pandemic, because Home Depot had helped a year before with the playground and the basketball court and a lot of a bike pathway we have in the back. But during the pandemic, for the children and the mothers to be able to go outside and they could play right by their apartments, and because the campus is self-contained, and always to be safe, and it was immaculate. And as soon as the pandemic, the orders came out, Home Depot came and made sure that our reception area, with acrylic covers and safety, so that they really paid attention to the health and safety of the entire campus. And that made it so much easier for our families to feel like they could get out and not be isolated, but they were still safe. So we owe a big thank you to Home Depot for doing that.
And Gary, can you talk a little bit more about the recent renovations inside the House of Good Shepherd? As I mentioned earlier, you so generously renovated the kitchen and the gathering family area that's adjacent to the kitchen. But I understand you've even been so kind as to address some of the individual apartments. Could you explain a little bit about what you've been so kindly doing there?
Well, certainly. Thank you. Yes. So we did the living areas, the kitchen, and you mentioned the living area, the family room. We wanted that to always be as inviting as the chapel is in the facility. And then we started looking at the units, and as great as they are, everything could always use a little bit of an update. So we worked with Ann and the team and asked if we could update one of the units. And see the scope of work and how long it takes. And we got Absolute Construction to come out there with us and updated some of the tubs and showers, put a kitchen in, our countertop vendor donated the countertop. We had some flooring that we put down and painted them, and really just kind of gave a facelift across the entire unit, and it looks so much different and brighter when you walk in. So we were able to do, I believe it was 2 of those, pre-COVID, and then we have 1 in progress right now that we're working with. I believe Ann had a donor come in to help as well, and Absolute Construction is going to do the labor, and Home Depot will provide all the materials needed for the job.
And can you share a story or two about women and children that you've met who have been so grateful for what you've done? And I'm sure you probably have visibly seen the wonderful impact that your work has made in their lives as they're trying to rebuild things. Can you share a story or two about women or children you've met at House of Good Shepherd?
Certainly, we respect everybody's privacy, and we go out and just really try to have a good example set of giving back and donating. I think everybody's kind of aware of what we're doing there. We've been part of the program for a few years now, and we try not to get too personal with everybody, always respectful of each other and everybody on the campus, and not to get into people's business, but just to let them know that we're there to help. We think everybody should have a good life, and anything we can do to support and put a smile on somebody's face, we're there to help. So.
And I'm sure you have made such a difference. And just them knowing that people care about them is got to be such an uplifting thing for them to embrace as they're trying to rebuild their lives. And may I ask, I hesitate to even ask this question, but because you've been so generous already, but did you say there are plans in the work to continue our partnership with you at the House of Good Shepherd?
No doubt about it. Look, COVID, is moving along. The vaccines are coming out, and it's a lot safer to get more done. As you can see, we followed protocols through COVID to help and assist. We feel like we can do a little more now. And again, we're respectful of everybody that is living at the campus. So we work with Ann to coordinate different things that we can do. But we're certainly there to help. We're in for the long haul. And we'd like to get some more units updated and work more inside now, as we get into the summer months and towards the fall.
We're so grateful, Gary. And Joe, can I ask, how are things in the average Home Depot store now? Are you able to be maskless and get back to normalcy just a little bit?
What a great sigh of relief as these, some of the protocols are being lifted, if you will. Yes, people are feeling better, breathing better in that aspect. You can see that life is really inching its way back to the stores and the people's lives, if you will. It's a great thing. And, we can't be cooped up for the rest of our lives, and this is a great way to do so.
Well, all I know is everyone at Catholic Charities is so tremendously grateful for your partnership at the House of Good Shepherd. Nancy, you do a tremendous job helping to tell the story of the House of Good Shepherd. And Joe and Gary, it's just truly an honor to be with you again. And we thank you for your partnership, and we look forward to staying in touch. The ongoing generosity of Home Depot has been appreciated even more over the past 15 months as the pandemic stalled Catholic Charities' efforts to hold our annual fundraiser for the House of Good Shepherd. So we thank you so much, Gary, Joe, and Nancy, for joining us today to share this remarkable story of how much good can be accomplished through teamwork and extraordinary corporate generosity. We look forward to staying in touch with all of you, and we also invite everyone in our audience to visit homedepot.com to learn more about their inspiring corporate philosophy about giving back to helping people in need. We also invite everyone back again next Tuesday for another edition of The Voice of Charity. For now, this is Katie Breedeman, thanking everyone for joining us today. We wish all of you a happy, healthy, safe week from everyone at Catholic Charities.
Join us every Monday through Friday at this time for Catholic Chicago. You can stream our programs live or listen to past programs by visiting our website, archchicago.org, and clicking on Radio TV. And please connect with Catholic Chicago on social media.